This right here is my personal pair of the Nike Structure Plus, a shoe that I have featured on this channel multiple times in multiple videos, talking about how much I love them, how much I recommend them to people, how good they are for all these different things. And although that is all true, if you would look at them, you would assume that I had been wearing these for, I don't know, a year or so. And that simply is not the case. It's been barely 3 months. I mean, like a day under 3 months. And it would look like these things had been through a trash compactor and back. And it's not just Nike. This isn't a Nike bashing video. It's the entire shoe industry at this point. If you go into the comments section of any shoe brand that I review on this channel or the Foot Doctor Zach Dubs channel, the second channel, you will see one of the first comments that comes up, and one of the most liked comments that will come up is, I bought that shoe and it wore out after a month, or it wore out after 150, 200 miles, or X shoe company just hasn't been the same in the last few years. It's everybody. And that's because the level of shoe quality across the board has gone down so precipitously in the last few years that everyone just, whatever shoe they buy, they just assume it's that company's problem. It is not. It is industry-wide. And so I went looking for the biggest reasons as to why we are getting such horrible quality shoes nowadays. And from what I found in the rubble of that research, I found several concrete, actionable ways to, number one, increase the longevity of your shoes and not become victims to what I think is one of the more troubling trends in the shoe industry. Say that 5 times fast. Let's get into it. Now, the biggest reason we're seeing a lack of shoe quality, lack of durability these days is honestly a little bit, it's relative and it's kind of perceived, because there actually is a benefit to it. And that is just that the public in general, athletes especially, are always wanting lighter, more breathable, bouncier, quote unquote, more elastic, more energetic materials. Because if you look at more traditional shoe foams, I'm talking traditional like early 2000s now, but if you look at some of the more traditional, more premium EVAs, think New Balance Fresh Foam, think Nike Phylon, think Adidas Boost. That's probably the best example. Those foams, relative to today's more thermoplastics, like Peba, Pebex, TPEE, these nylons, right? These like really explosive, lightweight thermoplastic foams. Think like the Nike Alpha Fly, think like the Adidas Adios Pro. Shoes are just these incredibly lightweight foams. Well, what you get in energy return, in lightweight feelings of bounce, you are losing in, number one, shear strength, abrasion resistance, resistance to compression over time. They are very good in terms of compression early on, but there's been several studies that over the life of the shoe, the EVA and the more like, space age thermoplastics, they start to equal out over time, because EVA and ETPU, those more traditional foams, the more premium ones, are so much more durable. The cell structures are more durable. The problem is they're heavier and they don't feel as elastic and as bouncy underfoot. They don't feel as bottom light. So people tend to go for the lighter foams. The same is in the uppers, where we used to get more like natural materials like leathers and suedes and nubuck and things like that. Now we're getting incredibly lightweight woven uppers or mesh uppers. And although yes, they breathe incredibly well, those older, more natural, like heavy woven type uppers, they would break in. They don't breathe as well. They're heavy. So in that regard, it really depends what you want. Do you want the lightweight shoe? Do you want something that's gonna be a little bit more bouncy or feel more elastic and lightweight during the life of the shoe? Well, then that is unfortunately a trade-off that you're gonna have to make. Another thing you can do is look for shoes that have a combination. Do they have maybe an EVA carrier and then thermoplastic on the inside? They have a combination of different foams to kind of give the best foam in the right area of the shoe. Right now, I'd say the most durable foams on the market, Adidas Boost, number one, and by a long shot. New Balance Fresh Foam X, Asics Flight Foam is another huge one. Nike Cushlon is honestly pretty resilient for the profile it has. And I'd say also right there would be Brooks with a DNA Loft with the injection of nitrogen in there. Because anytime you have a gas combined with that foam, that gas is gonna help hold it up a little bit longer. Now, the next biggest reason for the decrease in quality of shoes all comes down to production line changeover. And what that really means is too many models of shoes too fast. So traditionally, model years of shoes would come out, if it's like a signature line, it's once a year. And in a lot of industries, it's every other year. So one model line of shoes, let's say, will come out in 2022, and then 2024, where the other one will be 2021, 2023. And so it gives that production time a lot of time to, number one, make sure that the model of shoe you are making, the design of it, actually works in the real world. What we're seeing now is model lines of shoes come out within a year of each other. It's just not enough time to work out the kinks of the shoe. But people want to see new shoes all the time, or at least companies perceive that people want something new all the time. And so when you're pumping out shoes that fast, and number one, not figuring out if a shoe is good in real life, not just on paper on a computer screen, and then all of a sudden the production line is running and you've got a shoe with like a really critical defect in it or a weak spot in it, there's not enough time to do anything about it. The run of the shoe is going. Or number two, not getting the production line tuned up for that specific model of shoe to make sure that the quality of that shoe that's coming down the line is good enough. Then you're going to start to see entire runs of shoes, not just like one little batch, like maybe there's 10, 15 of them that come out bad, but entire batches of shoes come out with critical flaws. And to a certain extent on this one, yeah, you're kind of at the mercy of the shoe industry, but there actually is something you can do to protect yourself from that. I'll get to that a little bit later. But the one that just grinds my gears the most is outsole durability, the durability of the rubber of your shoes. And you would think with all these collabs that shoe companies are doing, with Michelin, with Continental, with all these different fancy new concoctions of rubber and polyurethane that people are putting on outsoles, that we wouldn't have any issues anymore with outsoles wearing down. But we do. Why? And that's because a lot of companies now are making shoe bottoms out of foam. Why? I'll tell you why. It's cheaper. You can just stamp the midsole, the foam of the shoe with tread, spray something on it, call it like a ground contact foam or whatever, and then you've got a weak spot on the shoe that's going to wear down faster than the rubber. And trust me, I've seen it with my own two eyes. You can make rubber on shoes last and not sacrifice, feel or fit or anything like that, or flexibility of the shoe. Trust me, the science is out there. Right? Like you don't see car tires only lasting, what, a month? We can do it on shoes. It's just, for some reason, the industry is going to these hybrid bottoms of shoes, and you get one area in that shoe that starts to wear down abnormally, and then that can really just hose a shoe. So really in that one, it's pretty simple. You just look for shoes that have a rubber bottom or an entire cast polyurethane bottom. Don't fall for some of these like all foam bottoms or, half foam bottoms, because they are going to wear down. Now, if you're in a racing situation, like, you're getting something for, racing, obviously you want something with as little rubber as possible, because this is a certain, you're using this for something sports specific. But in terms of just everyday shoes, don't fall for it. And remember, the biggest elephant in the room is that when you get a company that gets really big, a lot of times they start to rely on goodwill of the customer, and then the materials get a little bit cheaper, trying to satisfy shareholders, and there's that whole thing right there. So obviously everybody knows that one, so I'm not going to make a huge stink over it, but that is obviously like the biggest elephant in the room on this video. But getting to what you can do to protect yourself from this, because there is a lot that you can do to save yourself some money and not just throwing money at this problem. Number one, like I said before, choose more premium EVA or eTPU foams. Unless you have a reason to get the thermoplastics, right? Unless you want that for a specific reason, specific sport. If you're looking for longevity of a shoe or durability of a shoe, look for more of a premium EVA or eTPU. That brings me right into the next one. The next one is buy sport-specific shoes. If you are someone that is a tennis player, buy a tennis shoe. Wear that for tennis, right? Don't wear that to go walk around too, right? Use it for what it's intended for, because using things off label is always going to make the shoe wear down a little bit more abnormal. And the next thing ties into the activity specifics, and that is if you're going to do something over and over and over again, say you play volleyball 4 nights a week, or you play tennis 5 days a week, you play basketball 7 days, or whatever, get a rotation of the same shoe. So one can actually dry, the midsole foam can decompress, right? Because if you just wear one all over, it is going to wear down exponentially faster than two. So find a shoe you like, get 2 pairs of them, and then rotate them. They will last you quite a bit longer versus just one. And the next thing you can do is, this is pretty simple, is store your shoes in a climate-controlled dry place. Don't leave them in your car. That delaminates the glue. It also softens the midsole, even though I know some people like to leave their shoes in hot cars to break them in. You're also breaking the shoe down. Don't leave them in a basement or a garage where you can't control the humidity. And the next thing is something I absolutely hate doing, and that is untying and retying your shoes every time, like actually opening up the shoe. I always just try to slip into shoes, and it breaks down the heel counter of the shoe. It can wear down the sides of the shoe. It just, the shoe's always gonna be looser when you do that, and so you're gonna abnormally wear the shoe from that because it's not tied appropriately to your body. So if you wanna protect your uppers, just untie and retie the shoe. I know to a lot of people that's really annoying, including me, but it really does go a long way in increasing the longevity of your uppers. And one of the easiest things you can do is swap the insole out of your shoe for an orthotic. An orthotic will help redistribute pressure in the shoe. Even a little bit more of a flexible orthotic will help. The more broad the orthotic is, the better it captures your arch, the more it'll redistribute pressure. Now the one caveat to that is full-length carbon fiber plates. Most of them will actually start working the glue job here at the bite line of the shoe. They'll start toggling the midsole weird. So carbon fiber plates, no, but just regular orthotics, yes, they will really help redistribute the pressure along that shoe, make it wear out more evenly, and give it a little bit more longevity. And the next thing you can do, it's super easy, go online, grab a roll of moleskin. You can patch up most little things on the inside of the uppers of the shoe, just a little patch of moleskin, and it takes it away. Most of us have little inconsistencies in our feet. Our hips are not, no one has 2 even limbs. So everyone eventually is gonna wear down a shoe a little bit abnormally in some area. And if you have a little bit of a patch of moleskin, it can go a long way in patching up those little areas that you always rub down on a shoe. It doesn't add any weight, it doesn't add any discomfort. Now the next one sounds pretty simple, but it can get kind of complicated because of how we buy shoes now. And that is to make sure you're getting the correct fitting shoe. I just had someone in the other day who was beside themselves. They thought they were getting arthritis in their big toe joint. And they were saying, I'm too young for this. Like, this is horrible. Like, I have all this stuff I want to do. It turns out they were just buying a shoe that was too big and it was bending in the wrong area. There was a part of that shoe that had a little stitch there and it was creasing right over that joint or right in front of that joint and just causing irritation because the shoe was not bending where his big toe was bending. And so, simple fix, wider shoe, smaller size, boom, done. And so I know nowadays ordering online, it's a pain, you have to send the shoe back, but it is better than abnormally wearing down a shoe. Because number one, you get a shoe that's too big, you gotta crank down on it. That is gonna abnormally wear down the ankle collar. Number two, you get a shoe that's too narrow in the forefoot, say you get a bunion or tailor's bunion or hammer toe, you are going to end up wearing through the uppers of that shoe abnormally because it's just not meant for your anatomy. So make sure you match your foot size and shape with the shoe. Don't try to fit, a square peg into a round hole. Now the next one's more for the outsole and the rubber of your shoe, but that is to look for shoes with a 6-month durability guarantee. Now that's not going to do anything for like the uppers of the shoe, but it will at least protect you from the outsole of the shoe. And normally companies are pretty good about that. So, it's a pain, you gotta send it back and you get a new one, but at least you'll get a guarantee. And most companies, like I said, will honor those pretty much no problem. I've really never heard of someone having like a consistent problem with any company that offers a 6-month guarantee. But the last one gets back to what I was talking about in terms of too many shoes too fast, the production line changeover. And that is to look for shoes that are on a 2-year production cycle. I know I'm wearing an ASICS shirt. This video is not sponsored by ASICS. This was happenstance. But in terms of ASICS tennis, they will only release model years every 2 years. So you might not like the shoe in terms of like, the fit, the feel, whatever, but the quality, you can, be pretty confident that that is going to be a high quality shoe because they've had enough time to at least work out the kinks in their production line. There are other companies that also do 2-year lines. I just noticed it behind me, so that was the one I thought of. So like I said, if you just go and look and just see kind of when the model years came out, you just go and Google it, like when did this model year come out, when did the next one come out? And if they're longer than a year, those 2-year production cycles, you can be a little bit more confident that that shoe is going to be a little bit more high quality, better, like just better made versus a shoe where, let's say, the first model year of it comes out in April and then the next comes out in February. And last but not least, it is to get the right pair of socks. I'm completely kidding. That has nothing to do with the durability of your shoes, but it is a good segue to let you know that I did just come out with my signature line of socks with Selkirk, with a ton of performance and comfort features in them. If you want to check out the video talking about those, I'll leave that linked right here. And if you want to see what I'm talking about how to fit your shoes correctly, even if you're buying them online, make sure you click into this video right here. You'll get a bunch of good tips and tricks. I'll see you in the next one.